Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of Salamy Talk, where today we will be discussing the Eastern and Western Conferences and our prediction for who will be the top teams in the NBA Finals this year. The 76ers are leading the Eastern Conference by 2.5 games, and the Los Angeles Clippers are half a game ahead of the Jazz and Lakers, who are both tied for second place. The biggest surprises in the NBA for me this year would be the Cavaliers and the Hawks, who were both very underwhelming. The Hawks entered the season with having a bunch of shooters surrounded by Trae Young, and they had a great draft. And because of their bench production this year, they are the 6th seed, but it doesn't look like they are really going to make a run for the championship. But this is definitely a building block year for them. It's a very, very improved roster, and Trae Young is doing fantastic things. So 1 or 2 years from now, maybe they can win a championship, but right now, I think make the playoffs is very key for this team. My other surprise is the New York Knicks. They are very improved from last year. Huge roster turnover. Julius Randle's having a fantastic year. He's playing exceptionally. He's averaging over 20 points a game. He's averaging over 11 rebounds a game. Just doing amazing. And Emmanuel Quickley, rookie from Kentucky, drafted with 25th pick. No one really thought he was going to do very much. He's averaging over 12 points a game off the bench, which is very fantastic for a rookie. Very impressive. Going off the bench was a real big problem again for the Knicks last year. And one of the biggest reasons for their success is that David Fizdale was fired by the Knicks, and they brought in veteran coach in Tom Thibodeau that knows what he's doing. If you don't know much about Tom Thibodeau, he coached Derrick Rose much throughout his career when they were the 1 seed, and the year they got beat by the Sixers and Derrick Rose got injured. 2011, 2012. And then he was the coach whenever Derrick Rose has a breakout year with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think the coaching is working very well. I know this isn't a championship year for New York, but it's really a start. I think there's a bright horizon there. And my biggest disappointments this year both come from the Eastern Conference as well, and that would be the Toronto Raptors and Miami Heat, who both have losing records this year. The Raptors had to suffer the loss of Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. It's not just the production. They lost that veteran leadership at the center position and have to replace them with Aron Baines, was one of my favorite backup centers in the league last year, played for the Suns, and Alex Len, who played for the Hawks. We never thought at this point we'd be having this conversation about the Raptors. If you remember 2 years ago when Kawhi was traded for DeMar DeRozan and the first-round pick, and then that season they ended up winning their first championship. The 11th best record in the Eastern Conference, which record-wise is from top to bottom is not the strongest conference in the world. If they keep on their current path they have, they will end up with the lottery pick at the end of the year. I'm hoping that they make it to the playoffs because Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry, they've been great in the playoffs. But if they can improve their shooting and keep winning games, we may see them as maybe a 6th seed in the playoffs this year. And the Miami Heat, also in the Eastern Conference, who took the Lakers to 6 games and were the only team to take the Lakers to 6 games this past season, were underwhelming this year. They were without Jimmy Butler for 3 weeks due to COVID protocols, and he seems to be a key centerpiece for the team. They gave him max contract after his contract with the Sixers were up. Took them last year to the finals. It was the first time in the finals since LeBron James went to Miami. I could see the Heat returning to the playoffs if they can keep Jimmy Butler and their star players on the floor. But as of right now, they maybe they'll get the 8th seed. And for me, in the finals, I think it will be the Lakers versus the Sixers, because the Sixers have consistent shooting right now. If that continues, then the Sixers will be the number 1 seed and can win through the playoffs. Last year, the team was too tall. They didn't have a bunch of spacing, and it led to Brett Brown being fired. And so I think Doc Rivers coming into Philadelphia, helping work with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and signing players like Seth Curry really helped this team get to the next level. I think the West no matter who they face, I think the Lakers will definitely go to the Western Conference Finals against the Clippers or the Jazz. But either way, it should be a very entertaining season. All right, everybody, that's all today. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys next week.